everybody, I'm Ryan and welcome to 113 Cycles. Today, we're going to be redoing this corner of the shop. This pegboard you see back here is going to come down. We're finally going to get a piece of plywood and replace it, and we're going to try and get some studs up above. All right, we're gonna start by just taking a look at what we got going on over here. We got the two gladiator racks. Those will go back up. Everything's on hooks. We had a couple things on peg hooks, but they're already gone. There's like one hook left up there that's not doing anything. So all of this stuff can go back, but that pegboard needs to come out. I hate pegboard. It was fine. It was cheaper than plywood. Now plywood's about 20 bucks a sheet. So we're gonna get a sheet of plywood and replace that. We're gonna try and put a stud or two up above, up here. And this is just kind of mocked up here. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that down, put some studs up there, hopefully as well too. Hopefully we can get that all done in about 2 days because there's paint and primer and all that kind of stuff. And I've got some of the projects going on. So I'm gonna throw you guys on time lapse and I'm just gonna pull this stuff down. Bolts out, so that's good. Now this is hardwired and I'm not gonna get into that. Basically I just need to get it far enough out of the way, so I'm just gonna manhandle it and try and get it off of the screws. That's how I got it on there to begin with, and then just kind of walk it out of the way, and we'll see how that goes. We got the hoses disconnected. Like I said, the only thing hooked up is the electrical, so I think if we take it off and kind of rotate it a little bit, I think that that'll work good. So get it off one, off two. That is not nearly as bad as I remember. All right. Yeah, that was loud. I'm awake now. All right. It wasn't as bad as I expected, but it wasn't fun either. The camera, the 2x6s, and then we'll start taking all that down, and then the board will come down. So, pitter patter, let's get at her. This was what was behind the wall. Obviously, we got a stud there, stud on the corner. I got a 2x2 over here, and I did already put the 2x2 up there. So that's very nice. So what I need to do is put a 2x2, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, across the top so we have something to attach a 2x4 to. Because we actually need to put a 2x4 here and a 2x4 here to stay in line with those. But first thing I need to do is go buy a sheet of plywood to make sure it's gonna fit there so I can get it sanded and primed while it's drying and all of that stuff's being done. I can work on this upper. You can see the difference in the color. Look at that. So that's been behind the wall for a little while. Those, you can even see where the light was up above, where just the light has changed the color on the insulation, darkened it up. You can really see it even more over here. Just kind of strange that it's darker over there compared to that. That's kind of funny. So anyways, plywood time. We know it'll fit now. We trimmed off about 1/4 of an inch. That's probably due to the fact that that board was kind of behind it too. So that made a difference in it. But either way, we know it's gonna fit. So we'll take it down now and sand it. All right, have this little battery operated sander. I'm gonna hit it with 80 grit to start with, and then we'll step up from there. All right, we're done with the 80, kind of takes the shine off, gets the big stuff off. We're swapping over to, I think it's a 320. This is not gonna look like drywall. We're just trying to make it somewhat smooth so we get the big chunks off of it. So then when we paint it, we'll sand it again. But anyways, next. Well, as you can see, we did finish it. However, it took way more paint than I thought it should have, and it's bright too. Yeah, so I don't know if that was just an old can or what the deal was with it. But that took an entire quart, and it should not have taken that much. I have done a lot more with a lot less. Now, I did use this Kills 2 in the blue, which I'm actually not a fan of for this plywood because it can raise the grain. But unfortunately, it's what I had on hand. So, yeah, it did all right. It'll work. I have plenty of the next stage paint that we'll do after it's hung up. I was hoping to do a couple coats on this, but man, I barely got a good coat. And it's a good thick coat, but yeah. So we got that done today, which was the goal. We'll let this dry and then we'll put it back in the shop. All right, as you can see, we're up the top of the shop. And this is above where the air compressor goes. See it down there? I got you in wide angle because, well, I'm pretty close. So what we've got to do is put a 2x2 along that seam right there so that we have something to screw our plywood to. You do have a little bit of a metal lip there, you can kind of see, but it doesn't work well. There's not enough space to do it, so generally it just ends up missing. So what I have to do is I'm gonna have to trim out a lot of that foam along there so that we can get the 2x2 in. And what we're gonna do eventually is we're gonna run I say eventually, but hopefully in this video, we're gonna do a 2x2 across the top here, maybe even a 2x4, so that we have something to attach the top of the wood to. Going this way, we'll add something up in this corner, the next side. But what I'd like to get done here is get that across and get at least one stud down, maybe a 2x4 in the center. I don't remember what I did down there. I may have to go back and find some pictures and see what I did. But we are gonna have the same problem here. So you can see those are electrical wires. And what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to cut this foam along here. Luckily these are in metal, not in plastic, but you can see they are right there. So we're gonna have to cut the foam here and get that away. There's probably at least one attached piece in there, a little bracket holding that in. So we'll have to be careful with that, and same deal here. But basically what we're gonna do is get a multi-tool, oscillating tool, and trim this so that we can get 2x2 basically here, and hopefully along here. I'd love to get it all the way up. I don't know if that's realistic. We probably have a bracket somewhere around in this area stopping us. But if we can do that, get that bracket all the way up, then we can get one across the top, one on the sides, and then one in the middle. Like I said, a 2x4 probably in the middle. Well, it'll be a 2x4 in the middle, but a 2x2 across the top. I'm using a really old drywall tool. It's got the half moon shape or whatever it is. It's really dull, so if I hit metal, it pretty much stops. I can hear it hit, so there's no chance I'm gonna cut into this electrical cabling, by the way. In case you were cringing while you were watching, I would have been. These balls wobble. All right, well, I have found the clips where these are at. Unfortunately, I gotta dig. That's gonna be a lot of cutting to get these out. Basically what I'm gonna have to do is pull these out, put the 2x2 up, and then screw those back to the 2x2 maybe? I don't know. A lot of cutting. All right, next day. We've got the board back outside. We're gonna hit it with a 400 grit just to knock the high spots off on it. We're not trying to make this look like drywall, but we also want it to look decent. So we're gonna hit that with the 400 and then we'll be ready to take it inside. All right, we've got our plywood in, we've got it sanded. You can see there's some lighter spots on here where I would have liked to have done 2 coats, but I think it's sealed and we've got plenty of other paint with that. And again, it's just reasonably smooth. It's not perfect or anything like that. Don't know that I can give you a really good angle on that or anything, but you can see there's still some grain there and that kind of stuff. It is pretty smooth, but hopefully once we get the paint on there, then it'll look a lot better. But it looks fine anyway, so we're good with that. So let's go back to our corner and take a look at what we're gonna do today. All right, so we're back in the corner. Today, our plan is to get all the studs up there as much as we can and get our plywood back up here, get some of the stuff set back up, and we want to get everything taped off for paint, which we'll do tomorrow. I don't know if we'll have enough time to get that far, but we can always tape off in the morning tomorrow, and hopefully we can lay some paint down tomorrow. But like I said, we're going to try and work on getting the 2x2s and the studs up there today, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, we have our 2x2 cut, and these are the screws that we're using. They're 2 3/4 inch, and they go from wood to metal. So that's our screws. I will say that they don't go through wood very well. When they hit the metal, they go in quick. So I do a lot of times like to pre-drill the holes, and we'll probably drill, say, 2 or 3 of them. We'll probably do 1 on each end of this one. So we'll do 1 on one end, 1 on the other, and then probably 1 in the middle. So we'll use a total of 3 of these. So, but that's the screws we use. Like I said, wood to metal. All right, got our holes drilled. And we got it measured out. Let's make sure it fits. Have a little bit of trouble getting to that one, but that's okay. I'm gonna try and do this one first. And we have it again pre-drilled to make this a little easier. Make sure that we're in as far as we can go. Normally it works great when it hits the metal. All right. There's one. There we go. Woo. Yep. Now we got something to tie on that side. Next. All right, you can see all that work to get that piece of wood in. No, it does not go all the way down because I can't get those wires out of the way enough, and I don't want to. I'm not that worried about it. Again, we're gonna put a stud right here through the center. And next, we're gonna work on this side, do the exact same thing we just did. Obviously, it's a little different because it's a different side, but we're gonna try and clean that out as much as we can. You can see there's some cabling coming down there. I don't know if it just goes behind there, which is what I'm hoping, but hopefully we can get a 2x2 as far up as we can go on this one. But it's gonna be the exact same procedure we just did on this side where we cut and measure and take all that out. So I'm not gonna film all that. I'm gonna throw on some music and get to cutting this out. Up on the ladder, precarious is probably gonna be a little shaky, but we've gotten all of that out. Those are screwed in, you can see those. Actually didn't take as long as I thought. And we have pre-cut the board, or we've cut the board, and I went ahead and notched that out with the oscillating tool so that this board will fit in. Now we're gonna put L brackets in, which are gonna attach to the top of that one, and then of course straight across will attach there. So we're gonna do one facing downward, one facing upward, and I'll show you that in a second. Let's get in. All right, my neighbor's mowing their grass, so I don't know if you can hear them or not, but it's a little noisy. These are the L brackets that I use. I get them from Lowe's. They used to be like 58 cents. Now they're like 88 cents. You can see they're taller on one, shorter on the other. Depending on the application on which way I do it, I probably do it wrong. Remember, this is not a how-to, this is just how I do it. So what I'll do is put the bracket that direction, and then the other one will go on the other side down below. So I just screw these in. I've got some 1 1/4 depth, 1 1/4 interior construction screws. We'll screw these 2 in, and then we'll put it up there, and we'll do the same on the other side. We'll put the bracket on the bottom, screw those in, and then we'll put it up there. All right, I'm trying to do this between the lawnmower passes, but there you go. You can see that one is on the upside. I screwed that up. Those wires are supposed to go behind that. Yeah, you can see how that goes. That one's on the down attached to that one. Those wires will not be a problem, but these will. So we're gonna have to dig out behind. We're gonna have to take that out, dig out behind so that those wires will fit behind. Otherwise, we can't put plywood over the top of that or whatever we end up doing. All right, little update. We have the crossbar up and in. You can see you got the wires tucked behind up there. Maybe you can see. Started pulling the wires out because we have our 2x4 measured that's gonna go right in the center of that. And I've got those black lines drawn because I have to dig out a lot of insulation for this to fit. And I have to dig out a spot for those wires to go under the 2x4. Gotta remember to do that this time. But once we have that done, this section will pretty much be done. I'm not gonna worry about the top section up there until later. I don't know what I'm gonna do up there, but I've got so much wire and digging up there. I need to get this side done today. So I'm gonna start cutting that out, and then we'll come back. I'm doing the same thing, using the multi-tool, the oscillating tool to dig that out. I've got a screwdriver that's working really well to help with that too. So basically I'm just gonna dig that out, put the 2x4 up. All right, well there we are. We have the 2x4 up in the middle. Basically I just ran 2 screws from the top and then angled 2 screws from the bottom. And of course we have the 2x2s on the side. So if you can kind of see up there, that's what we got. It didn't take as much as I thought to cut out that foam. It took a lot, but I mean, you can look down here on the ground, that's all the foam that we cut out of all of it. So I don't know, maybe I'll clean this up. Yeah, I'll probably do a quick cleanup on there, because next we got to do this one. The crossbar up top is really going to be the hard one, but I'm doing it the exact same way I just did that. We have 2x4s, we have stud up top, we have the wire going behind, not in front this time, and of course we have the other side. I've cleaned up the floor, which had a lot of insulation in it. That's really expensive. That hurts to, that's the hardest part of the job right there, is that insulation in the trash, having to cut all that out, knowing how expensive that was to put up. If you put your studs up first, if you can afford to do it, I couldn't, put your studs up first, you don't have to cut all that out. All right, I've measured out for these 2x6s, and then we'll go from there. Oh yeah, and I tried to put the impact driver through my thumb. I don't recommend that. All right, we're gonna try and put this board up for up here. I'm recording it because, well, if I fall down, it's gonna be funny. I'll laugh. Told you. No idea how that worked. No idea. That shouldn't have worked at all. Not at all. But it's gonna fit. There, holy mackerel, baby. Look at that. Still not a carpenter. Now I gotta sand it, because I don't want to sand it up here later. But holy mackerel. Yeah. That is awesome. It's just awesome. Remember when I almost fell down? I do. Yeah, I'm trying it different this time. And we're all sanded. Ready to go. One screw, we're good. Hell yeah. Woo. All that work and it looks exactly like it did before. White wall, wood wall. But yeah, I didn't have less coverage. I'm not gonna paint this because I don't have any primer. Yeah, I used the last little bit that I had, wasn't even the right stuff on the bottom. I need to get some more, but it'll be a couple weeks before I can pick some up. So yeah, I think this is gonna be done for today. I'm gonna clean up a little bit, go make some dinner. Well, here we are. We got our board up. Yes, I'm gonna paint it. I'm not done yet, but thought this was a good time because I ended up with an extra piece of plywood because I went and bought it. Because I wanted to do this front corner up here. I didn't think I was gonna be able to this week, but I was able to get another sheet of plywood. So I was able to get this section up here, about 4 feet up there to where our crossbar is. And then I had enough left over to do another section here. So that was awesome. I forgot, since this is not 8 feet, it's around 4. you can use one sheet covers 2 spots. So I know that, 4 feet there, 4 feet there. So one more sheet and we can get 8 feet down there. So give or take. But yeah, so there's that. I got our lights rehung. I did have to use some hooks, but that's not a big deal. So we do have some gaps in here because, well, I'm not a carpenter. I'm gonna see if I can fill those with like wood filler or something like that. This corner gap, I knew I was gonna have a gap there, wasn't a big deal. This edge over here, see if I can zoom in. So that's a significant gap. And the reason is because there's hardware there where the roll-up door attaches. And I didn't wanna have zoom back out. I didn't wanna have to notch the board to have it hang over, and I realized that 2x2 up at the top, we can use that to attach whatever we do across the top, whether it be plywood or whatever, but then I have less insulation to cut out. I can just make it overhang over here. So that's the plan, and we'll just get some trim piece or something to cover this in, a little piece of wood or something, whatever. It doesn't have to be pretty. And we're gonna put corner trim in anyways, all the way along. Someday, sometime, who knows when, we'll get that done. And of course, we'll get it painted black, which will match the base trim. And eventually I am gonna add some color to this, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. So the gray was an easy way to do it. So next thing is to kind of clean up. I can get my hose reel back up, which will be nice. I can actually put some stuff up above, hang some stuff up there, get it out of the way. Cause this shop is a mess. We got stuff on every surface, cause well, flat surface stuff. So I wanna get some of this stuff off of the workbenches that I can. Not much of this will come off, but I can hang like the metal signs and that kind of stuff, the license plates and that. I can get the hose reel back up. I can clean up all these tools and everything. So yeah, kind of get the shop back a little bit, and we'll go from there. So that's where we are. Next thing we do is prep for paint. Oh, it looks so good though. Oh, too many days of work, but that's okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more stuff from us, and share it out to your friends. Comment down below any thoughts, suggestions, or what I did wrong on there. I'm sure I did more than one thing wrong. But anyways, the next video you'll see from us is going to be painting that same area. And we've got the Kills primer on there, so next we're going to tape off everything and paint it all gray. So look forward to that one. You guys have a good day. Thanks again.